Morning students, we are now in our Practical Research 1, Quarter 3, Module 11. So we are now in Formulating Research Questions. Okay, in this module, so you learn the following competency. So the learner states research questions. Then our objectives. At the end of this module, you are expected to follow the steps in formulating research questions, and number 2, state research questions. Okay, so in the previous lesson, you already mastered the skill in justifying your research choice. The activities that were made for you, I am sure that you were able to grasp the important concept of doing a research to explain how things happen. This time, you will be asked to formulate your research questions. So your research questions will lead you to answer the problem that you want to study. Also, your research questions will serve as a guide in your research. But formulating or creating one may be hard or complicated. It's therefore important to know not only the literature behind the topic and the background, but the central area of focus as well. So one important note is to ensure the quality of questions raised for the study, as one may have a lot of questions that could redirect the whole research. Okay, that's why. So in our previous lesson, we have there the remember the mnemonic PISDAC. Okay, so you need to delineate your research problem. So you need to specify what would be your scope for that research, so that it will not be too broad or shallow to your readers, okay, and to yourself also, had a hard time in finding the answers for your research questions because it's very broad. Okay, so as a researcher, let me remind you that the first thing that you should do in conducting research is to identify your research problem. It could be the success of the implementation of policies, projects in your school, problems in the community, struggles, challenges that someone is facing, and many more. Then, from the research problem you have identified, you can now create your research questions. Okay, let's try this. So create me. Analyze the pictures below and create one question for each item. Sample is provided for you. So I have here students, the picture. So they have committed cutting classes. So here's the sample research questions. So what are the reasons why students skip classes? Okay, this example. Okay, let's have letter A, example. I have here a picture of a person. So doing or I think he's playing a video game. So what do you think? So can give me a sample of research questions for this picture. Okay, so possible answers. So you might state, so what are the reasons why students are addicted to online games? Or you can have what makes online games so interesting to the students? Or what are the health effects of computer addiction? Okay, so those are the some examples of research questions for this picture. Okay, let's have letter B. We have here a picture of obese women. Okay, so can give me a sample question. Okay, correct. So let's have this. So possible research question for this is, so why do women, or what are the experiences of women with what are the experiences of overweight women? You can have that. Then so you can talk also about the experiences. What are the experiences of an obese person? And you can set also what are the effects or the health effects of having an overweight. Or you can have also how do obese people perceive their personality or image. So you can have those statements. So it depends upon you on how you craft your research questions. Okay, I hope you already know how to formulate research questions. So based on these examples, okay, let's have more discussion on it. Okay, formulating research questions. So research question is one of the important parts in research. Technically, without research questions, there is nothing to be answered in the study. Criswell 2018 proposes that there are two forms in formulating research questions in qualitative research. Number one is a central question, which poses a broad question that encourages the researcher to explore the central phenomenon or concept of the study. Okay, so question, this is a central question. This is the main problem at hand in your research. Okay, so just like we have in our example earlier about computer addiction and the overweight. Okay, so those are your central questions. Okay, and number two, associated sub-questions, so which mirror the specific questions to narrow the focus of the study through conducting interviews. So he emphasized that the researcher emphasized that only have to construct 1 to 2 general questions that will explore the concept of the study, and will ask no more 5 to 7 sub-questions, and which will be used in the interview. Okay, take note of that. The questions then will be begin with what. So what concept you want to explore, or how. So how something will occur. Okay, so take note of that. So in your research paper, so you can only have 2 central questions. Then you can formulate sub-questions 7, maximum of 7, so that it can help you in your data gathering during your interview. Okay, you will use those sub-questions in your data gathering so that you can further explain your central questions. Okay, the answers, the responses, you can emphasize it more and give more meaning to it. Okay, so you will have these steps now. So stages in writing research question. These are steps. Okay, number 1, identify the research problem. Okay, example. So underrepresentation of women in politics. Then number 2, identify the topic. So the topic is women in politics. Number 3, create central question using what and how questions stating the research problem and the topic. So we have here, so what are the life experiences about the underrepresentation of women in politics? So this is your central question or the main problem. And number 4, create a sub-question. So what are the challenges, experience of women in politics? Another sub-question, how do women in politics overcome these challenges? Okay, so as you can see, so sub-question is sort of a follow-up question for your central question. Okay, so take note, you can only have maximum of 7. Okay. Okay, another example. Okay, so identify the research problems. Our problem here is traditional learning to blended learning. So our topic here is blended learning instruction. Then number 3. So our central question is, so how do students perceive the blended learning instruction? Then sub-question, what are the insights of blended learning instruction? Then how do students feel about the blended learning instruction? Okay, so those are the examples. Okay, now here are the steps that I want you to remember in formulating research questions. So number 1, avoid questions that answer yes or no. Okay, so if everyone were created equal, would this world be a better place to live in? So this is a yes or no question. So do you think man desires things that belongs to someone else? Okay, so avoid these questions. And number 2, avoid questions that answers a single statistics. So what is the level of satisfaction or respondents in terms of handling government mitigating measures of COVID-19 pandemic? Okay, so this is more of a statistical tools, individualism. Okay, so your question for central question you can have also here. So how do Filipinos perceive individualism? Okay, you can have that, or can have also what are the struggles of Filipino families. So, or what are the struggles of Filipino families in acquiring their houses? Okay, you can have that also. Or how does it feel to be a illegal settler? Okay, or the term illegal settler. Okay, so you can have that in your sub question. Okay, so those are the examples, so you can formulate your own. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you how to make research questions and your sub questions. Okay, let's remember this. So the two forms in formulating questions is we have the central question and the sub questions. Okay, then number 2, research questions must elicit responses from your participants. Thus, you need to avoid the following. Avoid questions that can be answered by yes or no. Avoid questions that uses single statistics. So avoid philosophical questions, avoid Miss Universe questions, and avoid subjective questions. Okay, then for your assignment, so now using your research title in your research project, so you will now formulate your title. So as we discussed in module 9, how to formulate research title, then so right now your research questions, okay, and also the sub questions. So then, so email your answers to my email account. Okay. So if you have questions and clarifications, you can email me in my DepEd account. Okay. Okay. So see you in our next discussion.